This Sunday is Double or Nothing. We got a really good go-home show from Dynamite last night, including one of the best promos I think AEW has ever put out, period. Not just in 2025, but easily a top 10 promo in the company's history. We'll talk about that promo and then my predictions of AEW Double or Nothing on this episode of Screw the Script. Welcome back, everybody, to Screw the Script. I'm your host, Maverick. Boy, like I said in my intro clip, one of the best promos AEW has ever gifted us happened last night between Hangman Adam Page and Will Ospreay. This is a win-win scenario for us AEW fans, and in my mind anyway. Whoever wins this, it's fine, whoever wins. Hangman has been a staple, a pillar of AEW since its incarnation in 2019. Will Ospreay bursted on the scene a little over a year ago, 2 years ago now, and he's just been a force to reckon with. He's had banger after banger after banger, instant classic matches. He might not be your favorite wrestling style. If so, that's okay. I like his wrestling style personally. Some people might not. Hangman's got a wrestling style that's slightly different. He still does also a few things, you know. He does his moonsault off the top of the turnbuckle to the outside, things like that. So he's not like completely ground based, but these two are going to really sync up well together in the match. I think they're going to put on one of the best AEW singles matches in the short 6 years, may I add, in the promotion's existence. But man, that promo last night, Hangman had such emotion behind his words. You could feel it. I got goosebumps at one point. I'm not joking. I legitimately got goosebumps listening to Hangman. And he just, you know, towards the end of that bit that he cut, people already started clapping. They were giving him an ovation because they were like, yeah, this is a promo to remember. And Will Ospreay held his own as well. I am favoring, in my mind, I'm leaning towards Hangman. He's the one who I picked at the very beginning of the tournament. I've gotten everything right on that tournament leading up to both matches. All four of the finalists are the exact four that I had picked. And I have Jamie Hayter and Hangman winning them. We'll see how that plays out on Sunday night. But yeah, so I'm leaning towards Hangman. I want Hangman to win this. I think if he wins this and he goes on to dethrone Moxley at All In, his second AEW World title run will be a lot more impactful and meaningful in his career. It's going to hold a lot more weight. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Will Ospreay, the reason why I'm picking Hangman over him is Will Ospreay, you know he'll get his chance because he's just so damn good in the ring that it's not, it'll hurt Hangman more for him to lose and not go on to eventually be champ. Hopefully one of these two dethrones Mox. Let's just get that out of the way first. I think Hangman has more to lose here, and his promo very much cut that. Will Ospreay, if he loses, he's still going to go on to have great matches, great feuds, and one day he will get his title shot again, and he will win that title. But I really just want to see Hangman have his redemption arc. He was a face for the company early on. He's a face for them now. And what better way to have him become a two-time AEW champ than to take down the baddest of the, heels in AEW right now, in Jon Moxley. That's what I want to see. And we'll tie into Double or Nothing predictions next. Now getting on to the Double or Nothing card. I already said my piece, but we'll get back to it. We'll touch on it one last time later. We'll start with, here's the photo for you guys. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to actually start from the top and swing over and then save Anarchy in the Arena for last because I got a piece to say about that. But we'll start with the Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas. I think this will be a decent tag team match. I'm not super thrilled for this match in particular, just because there really isn't much of a feud going on here other than just a promo battle that we saw, which I don't know what it was, but not the best work by Dustin Rhodes. All four of these individuals, these men, can really work well in the ring, so it's not going to be a bad match by any means. Sammy, being a father now, he is really taking a step back in AEW. I do think that they're going to put up a good fight, but Hurt Syndicate's going to retain. I really don't see anybody taking the titles from the Hurt Syndicate for a little while. And we'll see what happens with this MJF stuff. I really thought that last night, especially last week, but I was also hoping last night that we were going to see Cedric Alexander. I guess we did not. Maybe he is being saved for a debut at Double or Nothing, or maybe he just doesn't even show up in AEW. But there was a tease that he dropped. I don't know if anybody of you saw it, but he mentioned, I think it was on Twitter or Instagram or something, basically saying like, yeah, I hurt people and things like that. And I was like, okay, you see that, he's going to show up, but he didn't. Next, we have Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe. Also not super hyped up for this match. I actually don't really like this match because is Briscoe just going to need another pin? What I want to happen, not what I think is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is Ricochet wins. But what I want to happen is after what happened on Dynamite last night, I want a 5-tool player to cost Ricochet this match. Anthony Bowens and Ricochet will start their own separate feud. That's what I would like to see come out of this match. Next, we have Toni Storm versus Mina. Toni Storm's great. I still think she is the best in women's wrestling today. So I'm going Toni Storm to retain here. And then the reason why I say that is kind of tying into the next thing here. We got Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter. I told you just a little bit ago, I have Jamie Hayter winning this all because I ultimately think that Jamie Hayter is going to be the next AEW Women's Champ. She's going to dethrone Toni Storm at All In July. So once she beats Mercedes, hopefully, we'll see that start to slowly build for All In. I really don't want Mercedes to win this. She doesn't need to win this. She still has 3 belts around her waist that she has to defend. She's been TBS champ for a little while now, so it doesn't hurt her to take an L on this match. So my pick is for Jamie Hayter there. Next, we have Speedball Mike Bailey already getting a title shot after a very short tenure in AEW. He hasn't even been here for half a year, and he's getting a title shot against Okada for that Continental Championship. I think this is going to be a solid match. This could be match of the night. It's either going to be this or Ospreay and Adam Page. I have Okada retaining, but I really think that Mike Bailey is going to put on a show for everybody. There's going to be some near falls. He's really going to just put himself on the map. So this is going to be a fun match to watch him. Just kind of, a lot of people don't know who he is, which is fine. But I think this is going to be the match that really puts him on the map for eyes that have not seen him yet. Then we have a tag match between FTR and Nigel McGuinness, Daniel Garcia. I'm sorry, but I really don't care about this match. This is much like the Gunther and Pat McAfee match. Like, at least it's a tag team match, with Garcia being teamed with Nigel McGuinness. And Nigel was a legit wrestler for a little while before he had a career-ending neck injury, if I remember right. It was a neck injury. So it's not quite one-to-one in comparison, but just having like commentators involved, it'll be fun. It'll get a good pop from the crowd. Everyone's going to love Nigel when he gets in the ring, when he gets that first tag especially. I'm assuming Garcia is going to start the match. So we're going to see, you know, the build from the crowd, like, you know, tag in Nigel. And then when he gets tagged in, they're going to go nuts. If you're going to have FTR be heels again, don't have them lose to Danny Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. FTR needs to pick up this win. Again, going back real quick to Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page, I think this will be match of the night. Not much left to be said about that because I've already kind of said my piece earlier in this video, but once again, I have Hangman Adam Page winning this match and going on to face Mox at All In. Finally, for the 8th match of the night, I don't think there's going to be any more announced, at least for the main card. I'm sure we'll get a couple matches for the pre-show, but we got the Anarchy in the Arena match. Now, these matches, they're fun, but they're pretty messy. I really think that they could use like a split screen sort of scenario for these matches. I do like that they play music during it. I think it just adds more to it. Otherwise, I feel like without the music, you're kind of just watching a jumbled mess and then a bunch of camera cuts. So I think the music does add something to it. Not my favorite match stipulation, though. I like the Stadium Stampede was fun during COVID, but that was kind of just a specialty because of the COVID era. Anarchy in the Arena, like I said, it's probably going to be 25, 30 minutes of just complete nonsense. All kinds of wacky spots. I'm sure Moxley's going to bleed because it's Moxley. Here's what I predict is going to happen, though. Gabe Kidd is going to get involved, because I don't see him. Yeah, he's not listed on the team, but he's definitely going to get involved. Like, that's without question. But I also think someone else is going to get involved in favor of Kenny Omega's team with Swerve, The Ops, and Willow. We are going to see the return of the Mad King. He's coming back. We saw that he's been injured for a while. He's recovered from that injury. He has some history with Gabe Kidd. So, hey, like, this is the time to bring him back, you know? Eddie Kingston, by the way, I didn't say after his nickname, the Mad King, Eddie Kingston, is my surprise return for the night. I really see him coming back and helping Omega's team. Do they win? I don't know. I think this is tough, because if you have Moxley's group lose, then what does he really have leading up to All In? You know, he's got a group that lost Anarchy in the Arena. He was submitted by Samoa Joe. He needed help to win the steel cage match against Joe for the title. I think it just makes him and his entire group look extremely weak and just further pisses people off, thinking, like, why in the hell does this guy still have this title for this long? But then on the flip side, like, all of these faces, I'm going to go with the Death Riders and the Bucks are going to win this match. I think it just makes more sense. Kenny Omega doesn't need to win this match. I think he needs to stray away from this, honestly, from all of this. Just have a singles title run with your belt. Don't get involved in all this wackiness, but that's just, that's my opinion. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Death Riders and Young Bucks, but Eddie Kingston does return. But see, like, that's the key. If he does return, I can see him helping them win. I do. And then we'll ultimately see Gabe Kidd and Kingston probably at All In. Is that enough to get them to win? We'll see. But right now, I'm still going to go with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. That's all I have for you on this episode of Screw the Script. You let me know down below what you think. Your favorite match on the card, the match that you think will be match of the night. And just let me know your thoughts on how I feel about that promo that we saw last night between Hangman and Will Ospreay. Yeah. Do you think either of these guys are going to go on to ultimately dethrone Mox at All In? Let me know down below on that as well. As always, this has been Maverick with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.